One of the most important parts of the American Fire Service is traditions and our history. And so when we built the station in 2003, we wanted to incorporate the fire pole. The fire pole's been in fire stations for hundreds of years and allows the firefighters to get from the second floor very easily. It's a simple idea. From the firefighters gets from the second floor down to the trucks in a lot faster manner than going down the stairs. Just one of those symbols that we use in the fire service that we wanted to have in our station as a focal point in remembering the past. You can see the walls when you walk through here. You'll see a lot of the pictures of past the firefighters in the past. We're here for 24 hours. We start at 8 o'clock in the morning. So this shift today, you don't get off till tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. So we work 24 hours, which can be kind of exciting here in the city of Kent, especially most of our calls. There's a lot of, not most of our calls, but a lot of our calls happen after midnight because of all the downtown activity. Thursdays, Fridays, Saturday nights are the busiest in town, but things can happen anytime, so we're always ready. This is our administrative office. This is Chrissy, our administrative assistant. She does all the data entry for our department and more. But that's one of our primary jobs, is to make sure that she translates our written reports into the computer, because that's an added, that goes to the state, and then it goes also to our national fire service bank. Conference room. We have a lot of meetings that we, as a staff, just try to communicate across each other, across our ranks, things that we can do better, things that we've done good in the past that we want to continue. But that's a big part of the American Fire Service's training, preparing ourselves for every opportunity that we might see. Traditions of the fire service here in the States is to learn from the past tragedies. They have to approve plans before a building is built.
Each one of the codes that is driven, whether it's national or state, unfortunately someone is given the ultimate sacrifice. So we try to prevent these things in the future. That's why we do the plan reviews at this time now, simply because we don't want anything like that to happen again. The other big thing that we do, especially in this office, once they're built, I do an inspection and I maintain their safety factor. We do education for senior citizens, for schools. In October is Fire Safety Month, specifically starts on the 7th, which is a Sunday this year. And that's the folklore of Fire Prevention Week in the United States, was back from the Great Chicago Fire, where Mrs. O'Leary's cow kicked over the lantern and burned down the entire city of Chicago, because it was made largely of wood. Well, ever since that time, the President of the United States deemed that week Fire Prevention Week. So we go to all the schools, make sure all the kids get educated. We go to preschools, all our senior citizen centers, and so on. And we do a very big outreach program for education, because prevention starts with education.
We've had 4 firefighters lost in the line of duty. That means they died because of their job. And most recently we lost Don Beckett. It was last year in October, and we lost Don to cancer that he received from the job. And he was only 53 years old. So we're coming up on that anniversary, but we've also lost 3 other firefighters throughout the years. And so that's part of the tradition too, is remembering the past and the lives lost and those that dedicated themselves before us. So this is the gear of one of our firefighters, our lost firefighters. This is firefighter Paul Mellick was at a house fire and ended up having a heart attack. In this room is our captain's offices. Each shift is run by a captain. I'm a lieutenant, so I'm underneath the captain. When the captain's off, I'm in charge. But so we have one person that's always in charge of the shift, and that's the fire captain. And these are this is each of their individual desks.
We've got 34 full-time employees. We have 10 shifts of firefighters. Each shift has a captain, a lieutenant, and 8 firefighters. You've met our fire service specialist, and then we also have 2 lieutenants in fire prevention and myself in the chief spot. all our guys are level 2 firefighters with the state. That's a state licensing requirement that we have. It's all our guys go through a 240-hour firefighter course. It's an academy that they go to, and we host that down in Columbus, which is our state capital. They house the fire academy down there, and all our guys go down for that 240 course, and then all our firefighters are also paramedics, which is about an academic school year worth of training. The funds are all taxpayer monies. We are budgeted through the city every year. The fire department submits its budget request, and then the city review that with us, and then we sort of settle on an amount, but it's taxpayer money. We pre-plan any scheduled burn that we do. We'll sit down with the officers, we sit down with our firefighters, and we pre-plan what we're going to do. We'll go through the building generally before we burn it, so everybody's familiar with that building. Sometimes we'll board up some windows to produce different scenarios, but it's an excellent training tool, but it does have to be monitored very closely. We do have safety officers that are there all the time whenever we do a live burn, and we always provide ourselves with backup.
This is probably the most important room to a firefighter. We prepare our meals in here. We try to eat at least one meal together. We think of ourselves as a family here. The number one cause of firefighter fatalities, of a firefighter dying in the United States today, is because of heart attack. It's because we don't have a good diet, because we're not in good shape, and because our job has a lot of stressors. So we have to be in good shape. We have to be responsible with our diets. Now, we have a lot of good meals in here that aren't 100% healthy. Being in shape and having good fitness, being healthy is very important to us. So this room, when we built the station, was one of the most important rooms to design and make sure that we outfitted. We have over $30,000 worth of equipment in here that the firefighters obviously can use, but any city employee, so any of the police officers, dispatchers, anybody that works for the city can also come up here and exercise, which is really good. We have 11 bunks in this station. Obviously, we don't have that many people working a day, but there is times where we have extra man staffing in. As a firefighter, I know that at some point I'm going to make my own bed. We have our own bedding, but I might never see that bed again at that night. There's some nights we're up all night long. A lot of nights we're up a few times. If you get a good few hours with uninterrupted sleep, you count yourself very lucky. This is just one of our boards that we have here. We have obviously pictures of us doing different things around the station. This is our firefighter that we lost last year, Don, his wife Heidi. The fire department bought them a trip down to New Orleans to see the Ohio State Buckeyes play. And then just thank you cards for people that we help. Up here we have our living quarters. This is what we use after we get around about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We all kind of, once we have dinner, we'll come up here. Obviously we have the TV to sit around and watch TV if we'd like. We have chairs to relax. A lot of times the guys will come up here and read. We also have a laundry room up here. Most of us keep all of us should keep our uniforms here. We clean our uniforms here. Sometimes we're exposed to chemicals, we're exposed to blood. Something else you'll see up on the board is a monitor screen, and that will tell us when we have a call. We can immediately get up and start moving towards the trucks. We don't have to wait for them to call and tell us that we have a fire call somewhere. So that helps cut down on response time quite a bit. Just like this fire pole does, so does that. And we want to be in the trucks. Once the dispatch tells us we have a need for service, either EMS or fire, we have to be in the trucks and out the door within a minute. This main station here has the assortment of all the fire trucks that we need. Depending on the call, we jump on the specific truck that was needed. Our trucks in the city of Kent are yellow. And that's a result of a study back in the 1970s that showed that people, while they're driving on the roadway, saw the color yellow and recognized that a lot sooner than they saw the color red. And at nighttime, it's more important because red turns dark and black at night, where yellow still maintains that luminescent color. This is the truck that we take on rescue calls and motor vehicle accidents, crashes. And on this truck, one of the things that we don't have in the other truck is extrication equipment, or the jaws of life. And these are hydraulic power tools to open up doors in the cars, to cut open doors, to cut off roofs of the cars, to get to people that are trapped inside the cars. This is our fire engine, or a pumper truck. This is what delivers the water through our hose lines. The firefighters take the nozzle, take the hose into the building. Every time we have a fire, there's somebody working these gauges and working these levers to make sure that we get the water fast and efficiently to the fire crew so we can put the fire out as quick as possible. This is the back of our ambulance or med unit or rescue squad. In the United States, most of the fire departments are also our immersive medical services. So we're not just firefighters, we're also trained as paramedics. This is our dive truck, our dive rescue truck. So anybody, if there's a drowning, a water rescue, anywhere in our county or in our region, we respond with divers. We have 2 ladder trucks here in the city of Kent. This ladder truck goes up to 105, or almost 100 feet. That truck is 65. We use those ladder trucks to get people out of high-rise buildings, to also throw water down. Continuing with the tradition of the fire service, this is one of our older fire trucks that we obtained that was in a barn for many, many years. It's a 1939 fire truck. All the ladders on it are the original ladders. So we're in the process of restoring it, repainting it, getting it to look like it did back in the 1930s, and we're going to use it as a parade truck.
We see that would make anybody cringe and walk away. There are things that we see that would make any normal person just want to sit down and cry. There are things that we see that you just can't help but laugh every now and then.
Fire,